Today, we will be putting Lawrence Summers on trial based on...
Alright, now I'm recording.
Today, we will be putting Lawrence Summers on trial for his incendiary memo about toxic wastes. First, we will have the defendant, Lawrence Summers, speak on his own behalf.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lawrence Henry Summers, and I think first I'd like to present to everyone here some of the things I've done in my life. And I think we'd begin with I have been a professor at the esteemed Harvard University. I've been chief economist at the World Bank, and I think next is, just keep going up in order. Undersecretary for International Affairs for the Department of the Treasury under President Bill Clinton. I could go on and on, but I think I'll stop there. Now, we are presented with a problem here. We have a hard and unavoidable truth to reconcile, and that is, I think you all know about the memo that we are here to discuss. That is that when we look at the world, we have a difficult situation. There are parts of the world that are just not doing their fair share. Now, all of these, fair, progressive individuals will try to tell you that toxic waste is something that should be kept to one country. But where is their globalization now? Shouldn't we be thinking, we are one world? Shouldn't we share the pollution as evenly as possible, thereby creating the least negative effects and the most beneficial economic effects? I invite you all to look at the big picture. We are one world. I believe we should be able to be one in all of our burdens. Thank you very much.
Okay. Next, we will have Alyssa, the first attorney for the prosecution.
As Mr. Summers said, he said that we should share the pollution, but in my opinion, that is a ridiculous idea, because in a world that is rapidly deteriorating, shouldn't we try and save the areas that are clean? As you can see from this photo, the toxic waste dumping gives exposure to toxic chemicals, and it can damage the brain, the nervous system, affect the kidneys and liver, and cause birth defects, as this child is showing. Do we want our children to look like this? Also, the groundwater can be polluted through landfills, and basic components are being recovered and then smelted into people's backyards. There's already so little underpolluted and untouched land in the world, and the idea of polluting unpolluted air is absolutely insane. Why would we want to pollute something that's clean? It's made for breathing, not for polluting. The toxic waste dumping is causing serious environmental destruction, ruining homes and many people's livelihood. And these areas are very sacred to many people, perhaps much more than we think about our land in the West. But to many of these people, this is really the only thing that they have. So why would we want to pollute that? Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Alyssa. Now we'll have Jay Johnson speak for the defense.
I would like to start by assuring you that my client here is a man of the highest moral standings. I will assure you that. But I would like to say that risk for pollution and illnesses are high in developed countries, and this is what we need to worry about. People in these less developed countries have a lower life expectancy and high mortality rates. That of children under 5, 200 out of 1,000 of them die. Pollutants causing illnesses such as cancer most often occur after extended exposure to these pollutants that people in these countries simply aren't living long enough to experience. It makes sense to pollute these places because their chances of dying are just, well, not that big of a deal. By importing pollution and dirty industries, less developed countries will bring profit to the developing country. Savings and capital accumulation increases productivity, which further reduces poverty, which is the main issue in these countries. The money brought in by dirty industries will boost the economy, which will decrease poverty and the negative effects like malnutrition, poor health care, unsatisfactory living conditions, and education. Economic gains will also improve technology and the ways that they deal with waste. Increased profit and foreign investment will raise environmental awareness and help countries avoid environmental hazards. This is the Kuznets curve, which shows that as a country's GDP increases, so does its pollution. But there is this critical point here, whereas the per capita income increases, the environmental degradation starts to decrease again, as happened in the United States during the Industrial Revolution. So yes, we will be polluting these countries, but as we bring in more money to them, importing these dirty industries, they themselves will find better ways to deal with this waste, and there will be no problem. Thank you.
Finally, we have Michael with closing remarks for the prosecution.
The defense seems to really misunderstand what the purpose of air is. It's for breathing and not polluting. Moreover, a destroyed environment is what causes the desperation in these countries, these less developed countries. Without a stable environment, without a government that is free from the infiltration of foreign corporations, they can never have the true sovereignty that we in the developed world have. They have no way to move up just with garbage jobs by doing the developed world's dirty work. They need a sustainable way to make a living, because frankly, just because you can push pollution from a developed country into a developing country does not solve the problem of pollution. The Kuznets curve does not actually show that the pollution is solved, just that a single country no longer has to have the responsibility of cleaning it. If you want a sustainable solution, you have to actually have sustainable solutions and not just push the problem somewhere else. The defense fails to realize that Western capitalism is the reason for these countries' poverty. It did not just come out of nowhere. These countries don't have the resources to deal with the pollution, and frankly, the United States doesn't have the resources to deal with the pollution, which is why they dump it in another country. It's cheaper because they don't have to worry about it. But these countries do have to worry about it. It affects their economy, which affects their politics, which prevents their society from really stepping up from poverty and taking sovereignty of their own land and their own economy. This poverty is maintained by industries like the toxic waste trade, because it exploits poverty and makes these people enslaved to developing countries for having to do their janitorial work. Again, this solution, as the defense calls it, is simply an out of sight, out of mind solution. It doesn't actually solve the problem. And if you keep just giving these countries loans and shoveling crap into their country, that's all they're ever going to do. Sure, they might make a little bit more money, but once the land is so polluted that they can't even farm it, that country is useless. Their people have nothing to do there, and they'll fail. Meanwhile, the developed countries don't have to worry about it because, oh, we tried to help them, but their government was too corrupt. No. Western capitalism is the thing that prevented them from growing. This idea that a corporation can dump its waste into another country and forget about it is wrong, unethical, immoral, and frankly, illogical. Thank you.
That's it.
Now we do a dance.
For God's sake, I hope no one ever has to see that.
Yeah.